Hello, hello. Happy Halloween. I did some half-assed spooky makeup for y'all. I was trying to shoehorn these cat ears I got. Oh, crap. So I'm doing a Katrina makeup. Slightly cat, but mostly Katrina. But yeah, I'm here on Halloween night. I literally forgot that it was Halloween when I scheduled this last week. But, you know, lots of people are looking for company. It's a Thursday. It's not like the most fun day for Halloween to fall on. So we can discuss this spooky reunion. Honestly, this reunion was kind of like, it was disappointing. And I think a lot of people out there agree. They didn't, hey, people in the chat, Bailey, Reba, Callie, y'all were here last week, some of y'all. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it, but also, like, excited to hear your thoughts. And we just had a lot of unanswered questions, and I feel like stuff kind of stayed the same. Like, they didn't really address anything, like, very deeply. But I want to go through and review people's outfits at least, and any new revelations we got. The most terrifying season yet. Yes, Callie, just like The Bachelor always says, the most dramatic season yet. But yeah, season 7 has come to a close. We got a date for season 8, so I know when I'm going to be working next year. Valentine's Day 2025. Officially season 8. This is the first time they like show us cast members from a coming up season. I wonder if we're going to hate them by end of February next year. Hate these poor people they show us at the end. But yeah, and it's the 5-year anniversary of Love is Blind. That's why they're moving it up, I think, to Valentine's Day. I was kind of scared they were going to like push it back into the spring because I'm trying to do some travel, and I was like, what if I have to miss Love is Blind? That'd be so tragic. But they're actually coming back to February. They haven't done February in a while for the spring season. So I see what they're doing there with their anniversary and all that. But yeah, excited. If anyone's from Minneapolis, you got to give me the tea. I'm going to ask coworkers of mine that live there and see if they know anybody. I feel like usually every city, like, I don't know, cities are a small world when you're looking at one age range. So I feel like people that live in a city sometimes know a friend of a friend. Like, even with the Texas seasons, I've had, like, distant connections just slightly. So, like, yeah, Minneapolis peeps, you're next. Hi, Penguin. Oh my god, Penguin, you're in the Pink Poochie Club, which is my channel memberships, which probably a lot of you don't know I had those on this channel. I don't really talk about them, but it is called the Pink Poochie Club, and you get a little icon next to your name in the live streams of a pink Poochie. Actually, there's different colors depending how long you've been subscribed. It's pretty cute, but I feel bad because I don't do a lot of bonus content. But, I'm always open to ideas. It's very Chapel Rome. Pink Poochie Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Poochie Club. Anyway, you're not here for my singing. Let's talk about Love is Blind reunion. Welcome back to the Miscellaneous channel, where we do miscellaneous things. I'm Zeleny. I typically cover TV, pop culture, internet trends, and other miscellaneous things on this channel. So subscribe if that's your vibe. I'm also not wearing my glasses, so it's hard for me to see if I'm squinting doing the Ariana Grande classic That's why. Because my glasses kind of kill the vibe of my makeup. So, where do y'all want to start with what updates? I don't have an order specifically. I mean, we can just go in order of the order they went in because they go kind of couple by couple. But if y'all have a preference, something you're itching to talk about, we can jump around. This is our Halloween live stream. We can do what we want. Nick and Vanessa Lachey, they're so annoying as usual. They were so cringy this this reunion. With they kept trying to make all these jokes work, and I was like, it's not working. Y'all are like the cringy boomers in the room. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Sam. I'm a mouse. Duh. I'm obsessed with these ears because they light up. I love it. I haven't gotten a chance to use them yet since I bought them. I bought them at Taylor Swift trivia that I went with my friend. I was of very little help on the trivia side of things, but I was there for support, and we ended up winning because my friend is that much of an expert at Swiftie trivia. I helped with like one question, Sam helped with like a few questions, and then Pam did the heavy lifting. Okay, but anyway, so Nick and Vanessa Lachey, cringe. Did y'all say anything? They were so bad, the jokes. They made like 3 attempts at condom jokes, like, let's wrap this up. And it's like, oh, please, please, let us go. And also, I was so pissed at this reunion. I'm sure a lot of you feel the same. We had a lot of like segments about old contestants that just wasted so much time. We had so many questions to be answered, and we wasted time on like a whole montage of Zach and Bliss. Like, why did we have to see scenes from their season? It was like 3 seasons ago, literally. And we know their story. Like, they're, a staple of the Love is Blind universe. Like, we know what happened. We know they love that song. Like, it's cool, bring them out to see their baby and stuff and get like a sentence of an update from the old cast members, but did we need to see like Jessica's wedding video? Like, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's into that, but I was kind of annoyed with all the time spent. It was just like a lot of time spent on the old contestants, and they were kind of random too. Like, Nancy was there and like she gave an update, but she was just kind of there. Like, what was the purpose? AD got a lot of screen time. I've heard she's on Perfect Match the next season, so they're probably trying to promote her. But everyone that was giving updates was also like, oh yeah, I'm in a relationship, but I'm not going to say with who. And it's like, well, why are you here then? why do we need to hear from you? Happy Halloween. Okay, Zach, yeah, skip through those. Yeah, I would have skipped through them if I wasn't covering it. I have to watch just in case something happens. But no, nothing happened. Spoiler alert. I don't mind the cameos. Yeah, like, I like it when they bring back past contestants and they have them like ask a question from the audience or something. Like, the past contestant reads out a question that was from Twitter or something. Hi, Mango. Silent viewer. Thank you. Y'all don't need to be lurkers. There's not many of us here. Make your voice heard. Nancy did ask Steven about the messages, which, that was so dumb too. They were like pretending they weren't going to talk about that, and then Nancy had to jump in, and she did us a favor, but they were going to get to the text messages. I think Nick was just trying to do a bit with Steven, and it fell flat. Okay, well, let's just go in order. Let's start with Taylor and Garrett. They're our healthy, wholesome couple for the most part. And let me find their looks here. I have all the looks, but they're kind of all over the place order-wise. Okay, how do we... Actually, I want to make a poll already. What do we think about Garrett's hair? I know it's polarizing. I'm into it myself. I mean, I like long hair on guys. It kind of reminds me of like 90s heartthrobs a bit. Not that he looks as good as the 90s heartthrobs I'm thinking of, but like I like the middle part and the long. Like I prefer this hair to his previous hair, if that makes sense. Garrett's hair. But I'm curious because I've noticed, I mean, I like longer hair on guys, but I feel like a lot of people are always like, you're psycho for that. Very boy band core. Well, I was a directioner, disclaimer. um, they barely talk. Yeah, Garrett and Taylor are smart people, and I feel like they were kind of disengaged in the drama. I think Garrett had some information he decided to be quiet about on the Nick stuff, and he just tried to like rise above it and say it was all immature. And like I get it, and it's smarter of him to do that, but also I wish he would like call out if something bad happened with Nick, you know, because he wasn't like denying the stuff that was being said about Nick, which we'll get to Hannah and Nick. But yeah, and also he said he'd always had an interest in fashion, which I was surprised by. I definitely feel like Taylor influenced him a bit. The look, I mean, I'm into it, but I know like people wouldn't be into this necessarily. I like the weird patterns and stuff. I feel like Cameron, my partner, would wear this. So embarrassing. I like it because it conceals his hairline. Yeah, I agree. I think before, you know, you see Father Time working on the head, and this, he really has full hair. I wouldn't have thought he could grow this, and I'm even like wondering if he went to Turkey, you know, but I don't think so. I think he just really had a short buzz cut. How's the poll doing? It's mostly nay, isn't it? Oh no, yay. Okay, it's like 2/3 yay, 1/3 nay. Okay, it's better than before, right? And then Taylor's look, is this it? Yes. It was giving fashion. I wonder how cold it is. It just feels so uncomfortable. But she can do no wrong. Like, she's so chic and sophisticated. Like, it's kind of like, it's a lot for a reunion. And it's definitely more like edgy and cool rather than like reunion promy glam. But she's just so fierce, and her hair is fierce, slicked back. I love her, and she's just like the best person on the season, like by far, even compared to Garrett. And did we get any updates on them? They traveled a lot. Oh my god, they have money, I think, because they showed montages of them traveling all over abroad in the UK, and those like igloo thingies, or like, you know, the little, they feel like where you see the northern lights. I don't know, I haven't traveled much. But you know, those things. And I mean, good for them. But they ended up not moving to San Diego. That was the update, and I was kind of surprised, because I feel like Taylor really wanted that. And they're staying in DC. They're living in the town his parents lived in, or live in, and are moving to DC soon, which is wild. It's more award show than prom. Yeah. Yeah, they're moving back to DC. That's very kind of her. She is more flexible than I was giving her credit for, on the moving back to San Diego. And it kind of makes sense since she already lives in DC, so it's like she still has some sort of, I imagine, career and friendships. We saw her friends. So she doesn't have like nothing in DC the way he would have like nothing, I guess, in San Diego. But San Diego's so pretty. Like, why wouldn't you go? I love them. No, I love them. I think Garrett is just like, there's some mysteries, and I don't know, I feel like they didn't even ask, like, how did they resolve the DM thing, or like, did anything come up again? I don't think obviously not. They seem very happy at the reunion, still together, very cute. But we didn't really get any other information. Mango, you were enjoying the reunion. That's good. I enjoyed parts of it. I just think some things were just so fruitless, but I think that's just how it goes when, exes don't get along and don't see eye to eye on things. But yeah, no, I don't know. Why did they bring Taylor and Garrett's parents to sit through this shit show? Like, I get it, they're so wholesome and sweet, but I feel so bad they had to just witness all these bitches they don't care about, like, yell at each other. And I saw someone say, like, her dad was, like, falling asleep, and I don't blame him. Like, what does he care about these randos just fighting? I felt bad for them, but they're so cute. I forgot to even mention in the finale the coincidence of the 13th thing. That her parents got married on the 13th, his parents got married on the 13th, and then they got married on the 13th. I wonder if any were Friday the 13th. But that was so cute and, like, weird. It's one of those, it's kind of like the Zach and Bliss thing, that I Hope You Dance. But even more coincidental, I think, because I Hope You Dance is a pretty famous song, I guess. But this feels like, whoa, that was crazy. That was crazy. And good on the producers for, like, figuring that out. I'm going to give credit to producers, I guess, for talking them, or making them say it out loud, during the wedding. That was cool. I guess that's it for them. They said something about Garrett modeling for Fashion Week. I don't know. If anyone has the tea, let me know. But I was like, what does that mean? My wife and I also got married on the 13th. Nice. The 13th wedding is a trend alert. Trend alert. Okay, that's Taylor and Garrett. They're fierce. Good for them. Love a woman in STEM. And now let's move on to our other married couple, which has a lot of controversy. Ashley, very appropriately dressed for Halloween, I guess. Looks like she has spiders, fashionable spiders, on her shoulders. She looks great. But this couple, I can't with them. What a mess. I mean, we all kind of predicted it. She stood by her man. I mean, she had already alluded to that on socials. Oh. So the story that Tyler is spinning is that he didn't want to say much on camera, which this was like a whole theme, this reunion, how aware of the cameras this cast has become, because so many of the problems between couples involved, like, secrets that were kept off camera, and, like, very on purpose by the cast members. And someone had mentioned, like, in my comments, that was kind of at the core of the issue of Love is Blind right now, is that they're just, like, so aware of the cameras that it's not so much like production slacking and missing important scenes. It's like these contestants are actively avoiding production and evading them and being dishonest with the cameras. And that makes it so difficult for us to figure out what is real and what is a lie. So with Tyler, let's go with, is he here? So with Tyler, I see the part that, like, I see why it makes sense that he would try to not talk about the children on camera, but there's a lot of inconsistencies with Bri, his, like, not ex, but the mother of the children, her side of the story, and also it seems like him ghosting them and after going on this experiment was a total blindside to Bri. And so that's the part that doesn't add up, that like if him and Bri had agreed like, hey, you're going on this show, I don't want these children's names out there, I don't want anything about my children to be out in the world, they would have agreed on that, and Bri wouldn't have been like totally caught off guard and like exposing all this on socials, right? So it's shady. It's super shady, because his story like makes sense if we didn't have all of the other side, and things that and like the things that have been said by Bri and her camp, like Bri's mom, who's the grandmother to the children, and others, like there's just a lot of shady stuff, and like it gets dark, and the girl on TikTok, Ricky, Storytime with Ricky, has been covering all that really closely and interviewing these people and everything. But yeah, it's shady how he like abandoned the children, because it's perfectly understandable to not want the children blasted on TV, but it's not adding up with the story we're getting online. And this reunion was filmed like 2 weeks ago. So all of the exposing and heat online was kind of like half what it is now. Let me look through the comments. I'm like, I can't see. Oh, and Ashley was saying, sorry, I ended the poll. People like Garrett's hair. That's good. Reba says, I was an avid Ashley defender, but I can't be her supporter anymore. She is complicit in Tyler's life. Yeah, so on Ashley's side, she stood by him and said that off camera, he had told her, like, the full story, whatever the full story is to him. I don't know if it's everything we've heard. I don't know if it's anything about the child support stuff and allegations or anything. But Ashley is saying that off camera, he was honest. And, like, the thing about when he said, I don't think so, to if the kids know what he looks like. Like, he's saying he stepped in for his friend to care for the kids when her wife left her and left the first child. But, like, it's very muddy about, like, what about the twins, where he was very involved? They didn't really touch on that. They really didn't go deep because, you know, it is so complicated and nuanced, and I don't think, well, obviously, Vanessa and Nick are just not equipped. This is like an intense, weird situation, and Tyler's spinning this whole narrative. Anyway, sorry, back to your comments. Penguin says, people have become so strategic about the cameras now. It's hella hard to have any faith in what's happening. It really is. Like, and it comes through with Ashley and Tyler. It comes through with Hannah and Nick, Alex and Tim, Monica and Steven. Well, not them as much. But those three, like, all three couples, it's like at the crux of all their drama on the reunion. She was clearly stumped at the revelation, so to pretend she knew all along is insulting to our intelligence. Yeah, Ashley was very, like, kind of trying to call out the public for thinking they know more than her. And yeah, I do think she's complicit, and she needs to be really careful about, like, when she starts having kids with this man, like, you know, it's a big red flag, and you don't want him to be repeating patterns and leaving you alone with the children. Like, that should be such a, like, caution to her about having kids with him, especially. All the info that came out. Jessie Wu interviewed the kid's mama. Yeah, she's been doing interviews, and the grandma too, Bri's mother. It would have been so easy to keep it classy and private if children... Yeah, like, if he had agreed with Bri, like, hey, let's not I'm not going to talk about the children on camera. Whatever. You can come to the wedding. Like, no one will know. I don't know. It's just like, if this was an agreement, there wouldn't be all this drama, I don't think, off online. Reunion was filmed about a month ago. I've heard like October the 13th or around there. Tyler literally denounced these children on TV, calling them sperm babies. Yeah. Yeah, like it very much seems like abandonment. To some degree. Or to a total, complete degree. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Ashley feels now after everything that's been revealed. And yeah, I've seen like stuff about how Tyler has been like threatening Bri and her mom. Feels like he's retconning. Yeah, because it sounds really good. Like, it's a good story to spin. Or it's like the only thing he can say. Like, oh, I kept it off cameras to protect the children. Which would make sense. It does suck. Like, they're the biggest victims in all this. Like, all their information's out there. They have to see their father, like, denounce them on TV and reduce them. It's so messed up. Every court document. Yeah. Ashley has a unique perspective about everything that's happened. No things we'll never know. Like, I do think he was saying other stuff off camera, and I think I mentioned it before even, like, it's possible, but I don't think she's getting the full story, because the full story makes him look pretty terrible. Like, no way she did the same amount of sleuthing and digging that hundreds, if not thousands of people online. Yeah. Yeah, I think she's, and we saw it coming, like, she's, my man defender, and I just hope for the best that, I don't know, he changes his ways or whatever. I don't think it would happen, but I would really hope, just for her sake and any children she might bring into this world, that he gets his shit together. And I don't know, it's just so hard. Like, I'm like, yeah, right. I don't know. I don't believe it. Yeah, he had a year to gaslight and manipulate her. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's only getting his side of the story, and he's gonna spin it in his favor as best as he can. And, I mean, it could be complicated, but it's just like, he was very involved in those children's lives. And he passed it off as like, oh, I'm involved in, like, all my friends' children's lives. And it's like, are you wearing matching pajamas with them, though, at Christmas? I don't know about all of that. I hope she has a chat with Bri about the whole thing, especially if Tyler's not around. I think Ashley is, like, in brainwash mode right now, in a honeymoon phase. They're very happy together. They showed a montage and everything. And they have matching pajamas now. I think with time, I don't know. I really hope he doesn't fall into his old ways, but it's just a really bad sign that he created these 3 children. I mean, 2 that he's very involved with, and then pretended they didn't exist, ghosted them. Like, Bri says they expected to be at the wedding. They were happy for him to find somebody. It's just messed up. Reva says she's 100% in denial. It's too much and too crazy to accept. It is. Penguin has been there in denial about a man. Yeah. Yeah, he was, people say, or everyone's corroborating, he was literally in the delivery room for the twins. Like, he was involved. And there was, like, court things. I haven't been following every single thing, but there was court things about he was trying to, like, change their name or something. Or I think now she's trying to change. I think the kids might have his last name, and she's trying to change it now. Something like that. But yeah, their situation is so weird and sad, and we're not going to get anything at the reunion. And now I feel like Ashley has her hands dirty too, with this whole thing, by just being like, oh, I know better, and whatever, we're just having fun living our life as a single married couple. Like, they didn't talk about if he's involved in these kids' lives at all. I don't know. It's bad. It's bad with them. There's not much more we can say. um, yeah. I feel the same way, Penguin. At first, I was curious about the tea, but now I just feel bad for these kids. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, hopefully TV audiences have short attention spans, and by the time they're more conscious, they won't be around. They won't be aware, or it just won't be talked about as much. But it's all out there, and the internet is pretty permanent. So sad for them. Really sad. Dark. It's dark. And reality TV sometimes gets like this. Sometimes it gets dark, especially as it goes on further and further. There's some dark things. And when kids are involved, that's really sad. Okay, who do we move on to lighten it up? Actually, there's nobody, because Garrett and Taylor were the only wholesome ones. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's see, who... We're going in order, huh? Marissa and Ramses. We didn't get much with Marissa and Ramses, except, like, they kind of fought it out through Hannah and Nick. Ramses. Here's Ramses. I don't mind his outfit. I know he's a douche, but but his outfit... And so people have been hating on Marissa after the reunion. Did y'all's opinions change about her? I think she's just, like, very loyal to Hannah. And so in the reunion, she was, like, attacking Nick a lot. And when it came time to, like, confront Ramses about anything, they just kind of talked about how heartbreaking their breakup scene was, and that it was hard. And she was heartbroken, and Ramses said it was hard for him too, whatever. But I feel like we didn't get much else about them, from them. They never said if Ashley met the kids. They weren't in the picture, so. Marissa did look gorgeous. I love the dress. Probably one of my favorite dresses, and this picture really doesn't do it justice, because it had, like, it was kind of iridescent or something under the lights. She looked great. I think she's just so loyal to Hannah, and Hannah is very dramatic, and it is probably, like, egging her on about how horrible Nick is and all these things, and kind of riling up Marissa. I don't know. I think there was legitimacy to what Marissa was trying to expose about Nick, and what Marissa and Hannah were doing, but because Hannah, now I'm talking about, well, next will be Hannah and Nick, but right now, Marissa and Ramses. And also, Marissa's mom was in attendance, and she was great. She was providing great reactions, and they asked her, like, how do you feel about this breakup and confronting Ramses again? And honestly, her mom was very level-headed about it. And, like, I don't know, I think all her threats were just her being protective, and she's not actually, like, trying to murder Ramses. Because when we first met her, she gave the impression, like, I will murder you if you break her heart. And he broke her heart in, like, the most intense way, and her mom was totally there for her. She even had a conversation with him, even though she was feeling a lot of animosity. And in the end, she's grateful he broke it off because he was obviously toxic for Marissa. So honestly, it made me like Marissa's mom so much more after this reunion because it felt like I was getting the whole picture of her now. We know Hannah is right in her points, but always dramatic in presentation. That's exactly it. And so when she's close with Marissa, she's, giving the dramatic version of events. And Marissa's, of course, like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Let me fight. So I appreciated her mom a lot. Yeah, her mom is total mama bear vibes, penguin. And yeah, it reminds me more of like my mom or, moms that are fiercely protective. Um, and yeah, it just felt like we didn't get anything from them. Nothing new. Um, I'm looking at my notes to see if there was anything. No new revelations. Ramses was still going around in circles, like, kind of like, I take accountability. And he said he regretted not bringing it up sooner. I think he's just very avoidant. And, like, I can't say I don't relate to that. But he avoids conflict, like, and being direct. Not to say he should be like Hannah and just say every thought that comes in his head. But he just kind of, like, skirts around things, and I feel like at the reunion he was very like, I'm taking accountability, but he also clarified about the condom thing, that it was not an ultimatum, that it was a way bigger conversation and more nuanced, and that he didn't want to force her, that he knows like all the effects of hormonal birth control on a woman and all those things. And I mean, it could be true, I guess, but it just was not a good look. And I know when they filmed this it was like peak. He was getting the most hate for it, so he might not have known the effects of hormonal birth control before that. And then I'm sure the internet like came down on him, and he probably learned some things. His fear of hurting her ended up hurting her more. That's a good way to put it, Bailey Ann. His speech about energies colliding together. Yeah, I was like, what does this mean? Like, just say what you mean. Like, oh, I just couldn't deal with these energies, and like, it's so exhausting, and all these things. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Just say, like, is she too chatty? Is she too, like, peppy, or does she want to spend too much time together? Is she clingy? Like, what is it about energies? And it's all very abstract with him. Regardless of the context, he still said some shitty stuff. Yeah, about the condom thing. I think he's just like very much doing damage control on that, and I think that was what he was getting the most hate, like right when the reunion was getting filmed, and so he had to be like, I know. It's just like once you've done it, the internet will humble you. Yeah, yes, confusing. He said both she had too much energy and not enough due to illness. Yeah, that's the thing. It's all abstract. Like, I still don't really know what he means or why he broke up with Marissa. I think that's what they were trying to ask at the reunion, and nothing came of it because he can't give a straight answer to save his life. Marissa's mom rolling her eyes when he was talking was literally my reaction. Yeah, Marissa's mom is the MVP, best supporting actress of the reunion. She had the best reactions to everything, even other people's drama. She had good points, and it showed, like, she can be a kind of tough. It's a lot of tough love with her, but her heart's in the right place. And she has a good read on things, because, like, I mean, I would think she would react the same way to any guy that she did to Ramses when meeting him, just because she's protective. But, I mean, she was hard on Ramses right when she met him. Didn't she say in the Glamour article or something that she has ADHD? Like, literally, Ramses was just like, I don't know, you're just a little too hyperactive. Oh, I see. I hadn't seen if Marissa has ADHD. But yeah, like but I still don't know what he means by the I don't know, the energies. It's all about the energies, and it's woo woo and hippie, kind of. But like, I don't know. We still don't know. But I don't know. I don't hate Marissa as much as people are hating on her. I mean, I don't know if I don't think y'all seem more nuanced about it, but I've seen on the internet people really hate Marissa for like ganging up on Nick, but like I think she just probably sees firsthand the hate that Hannah's getting. And Hannah's probably getting death threats, getting like all this hate, and I think she just wanted to take that out on somebody. Like that anger about the hate Hannah's getting because she's like a very loyal friend. I don't know. I didn't think it was like that crazy. She was just a regular person. Maybe there doesn't have to be a deeper reason for liking someone. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Ramses, it's just like there is something with the energy. I don't know. And that's all we should let's move on to our the other couple I keep talking about. Hannah and Nick. What a mess. Wait, where's Hannah? Hannah had her big glow up. She lost weight. She's been teasing it on socials. Girl, I lost Hannah. Where'd she go? Hello? Oh. The dress? Interesting. I didn't even realize, I didn't recall the rose moment. I thought it was just like plain red dress. Oh, okay. Marissa did say in the Glamour article she has ADHD and rheumatoid arthritis, and that was a big impact. I mean, that can help, or that can impact a relationship, but man, it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm glad Ramses left in the end. They were just not compatible. It was just very heartbreaking to watch, and he like seemed to have doubts sooner and was like reassuring her at the same time, and it's like I think he just needs some decisiveness. Red dress. Yes. I don't mind the dress. I mean, she's looking good. I feel like when it was kind of weird when, well, not weird, like I feel like I get it. I get it. But when Vanessa was like, "Do you love yourself?" And I was like, "Ooh," and she was kind of tearing up. It was just kind of like I feel like I get it, but I feel bad for her. Even though she's like bitchy, I felt bad for her in just that way. Like, she's very insecure, and that's what was coming out a lot this season. And she was projecting a lot. And I just feel like when you have a big glow up, you realize some things don't get fixed with that you thought were going to get fixed. The dress looks good, but it can't cover up her personality. Yeah, I predicted it to a T. Like, she did not backtrack on anything she did during the season. She just didn't strike me as someone that was going to, like, come in very remorseful or sad or, like, regretting anything. She did kind of, like, half-heartedly apologize at the end for being cruel to Nick. But it was kind of half-hearted, and she mentioned some, like, she just says things and she doesn't mean them. And like, Okay, we'll get to that. With the Katie thing is what I'm thinking about. Um, I feel like I just felt bad for so many people and also strongly disliked them. Yeah, literally. That summarizes season 7. Um, yeah, I don't think Hannah meant an apology at all. And they asked her like Vanessa kept trying to like imply like, do you feel bad? Do you regret anything this season? How you came across? And she like is very self-aware about it, but like at the same time not sorry and not changing. Not doesn't seem willing to change. She's like, yeah, I need to work on that, but like doesn't work on it, it seems like. Um, and self-awareness doesn't like absolve you of any wrongdoing. Like it's a good thing, it's a good first step, but we gotta go to the next step at some point. Um, and I don't know if or when she would. So, and we're gonna get to Nick too because she just kept saying, "Yeah, I'm a bitch. That's just who I am. I'm very direct. That's just who I am." And it's like, girl, well, you're not gonna have any friends or any a husband or whatever if you're just gonna commit to being this. Or maybe she will, but I don't know. It's just not a nice way to treat people. And like even the other girls that are her friends were like, she's been mean to me too. It's like, girl, why are you friends with her then? Um, I feel like Hannah reminds me of how I was when I was like 21 and insecure AF, says Penguin. Yeah, I think that's where it all comes from with her. She's very insecure and she just blurts things out and has just no sensitivity or like, I don't know, she needs to like self edit and not hurt the people she cares about constantly. Um, so yeah, she didn't regret anything. A lot of people are mad at AD for like kind of cheering Hannah on because AD was like, she doubled down, like almost like that's fierce. But I think AD was just like kind of reacting like a reality TV fanatic. You know, like how people react to like the housewives when they're being assholes. Um, I think it was coming from that perspective and not like, oh, this is a good thing to be or like condoning. I don't know. That's just my read on it. But yeah, AD was just like, well, she's doubling down. Okay. Good for her. um, okay. We did get some new information, though, about Nick. And Nick is just so aware of his image. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's gotten some sort of press training being a semi-professional athlete. Athletes have to do all these like little press conference thingies and media stuff all the time. So like I kind of feel like he has some background and training in that. Also, he's a real estate agent. It's a people kind of business. So a lot came out at the reunion about Nick that I believe. And it's pretty shady. It doesn't like absolve Hannah of just being cruel to his face, but I think as the season went on, I was picking up on and trying to pay attention to Nick and like him being calculated with his own image, because very early on in the honeymoons he talked about like, I don't want to talk about sex on camera, things like that. And that to me says like, oh, I'm aware of how I'm coming off, I'm curating my image. And Hannah's kind of like, well, why didn't you leave if I was being mean? Um, and I don't know. I wonder if it was to present a certain image, because like what else would be tying him to her? I mean, he maintains he's in love. He loved her and all these things, but I don't know. I just think he knew he would come off decently if he stayed through and showed he was patient and calm and nice to her. But so the girls were trying, very image obsessed. One of the YouTube commentators mentioned it, and it's an accurate description. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going back through your comments. OMG, AD was giggling. I think AD was just like, I'm at the Housewives reunion, woohoo. I'm sure someday she'll look back and, yeah, I think Hannah eventually, she'll like suffer enough consequences, I think, for just being mean. I didn't think she was cheering her on. Yeah, okay. Y'all are team AD was just kind of like, yeah, eating her popcorn. Yeah. No, yeah, I do think it's up to her, Reba saying, it's up to her not to be mean, not up to him to leave. Yeah, I think it's a delicate line, and he had his reasons to stay, and we don't know what they were. And she shouldn't have to, like, drive him away if she's not into him. You know, like, if you want to break up, break up. Not just, like, be a bully. Like, but Nick, I don't know. I just think these clues we have had of him being so aware of his image, and now, so the new thing is Hannah was snooping through his notebooks, which, out of spite, after they broke up, she casually mentioned that, and she saw that one of his goals, dated 2 weeks before the experiment, was to be the most famous person on Love is Blind. Which he justified as he does 90-day goals where he writes the end date of the 90 days, and then writes 3 goals, and that was one of them, and that when he wrote that, he hadn't really, he wasn't far in the process of getting cast and didn't think he'd be on there. I think it's a weird thing to write if you're allegedly seeking love, even though I do think all of these people think this, and they're just not dumb enough to write it down, to be honest, I think. Why would you write this down? And so those are the clues to me of like, well, he's just like image conscious and is trying to portray a certain way on camera. And the other thing we hear about is that allegedly off camera, he was underwhelmed by Hannah's looks after the reveal. And there was a lot of chatter on the reunion couches of like what exactly was said and the severity. Some people, or Hannah and Marissa were saying he called her a grenade, which, is this an East Coast term or something? I hadn't heard that, but I guess it means ugly, is what I'm picking up on. I guess, unless y'all probably know. I'm sure y'all know. And that he rated her a 5 out of 10. And he denies those two, the grenade and the 5 out of 10 thing. But Marissa kind of takes, like, it was nice to at least see Marissa like press Ramses a bit, like confront him of like, well, you're not going to corroborate because it sounds like Nick said this in front of the boys, and then all the boys went and told their partners, and now the boys don't want to break bro code on the reunion, and didn't want to like confirm or deny any of these comments. Okay, Sam says she remembers the term from Jersey Shore. I have heard it associated with Jersey Shore. That's why I'm like, is it an East Coast thing? Yeah, I would perceive grenade as a compliment. I mean, I could see her personality described as a grenade because it's very destructive. I don't know. But, like, I never heard it as a looks thing. But yeah, maybe it's a Jersey, like, upper East Coast thing. But yeah, I don't know. So I do think Nick, it does sound, so eventually Steven corroborates that he said she was a grenade. But then he kind of walks it back a little bit after. And Garrett does not want to get involved. I think he knows some things, but he's like, this is all just immature, which is like the smart thing to do, but I'm annoyed. Like I said, like, tell us though. And then Ramses, he avoids it. Marissa keeps trying to get him to say it. And Ramses just tells Nick, like, just take accountability, bro. Or whatever he says. And tells him to, like, be honest. And eventually, Nick admits he said he was underwhelmed after the reveal. He said that off camera. So we did get an admittal from Nick that there was something of the sort. I mean, Hannah said a lot of these things on camera. And I think to Hannah, like, it's better or more superior to say things to people's face. I mean, I think to an extent, like, people believe in that, but, like, she was just, if you're being rude off camera, on camera, it's all rude. So it's like, he was being rude about her looks. She's being super rude about his looks to his face and to everyone. Off camera, on camera. So it's not like this absolves Hannah of anything. It's just like, oh, Hannah's a sinking ship. Let's bring Nick down. And, like, we do want to know. I think it's important we know these things because Nick is not a saint. And, I mean, he's been a victim of Hannah's bullying. So, like, even if he was on the show for vanity reasons, he still didn't break at all these insults with Hannah constantly. But it is shady. I think it is shady that Nick was saying these things off camera and presenting on camera like, I love her looks and I'm in love, all these things. Like, I think he's just really immature. I mean, we saw his immaturity throughout in, like, life things. And I think both Hannah and Nick were immature. That's why, like, their sense of humor kind of worked sometimes together when she wasn't, like, busy insulting him. They're both kind of childish in how they're handling. Nick is just, like, I think he's had press training. I think he's smart about the cameras and the perception. And that really benefited him this season. And he's coming out of it okay. I don't think, because Hannah was so mean to him, like, his sins are more overlooked by the audience. Like, we don't care as much because he wasn't hurting, like, a fan favorite that we all love. Yeah. Bailey, weird how he was so concerned about his image, but not enough, apparently. Our Gen Z representation on the show. Yeah, they're a very Gen Z couple. Their humor is very that. Um, I definitely think some of it, I definitely think what was being said was true, though. Like, they didn't really, like, the boys didn't want to corroborate what Nick said, but they also weren't, like, denying it. I think if things had not been true, all the boys would have been like, Nick never said that. Nick never said that. I feel like they would have been pretty adamant. But because the boys were quiet, it's kind of like, well, we can ascertain from that a little bit that there's truth to it. So I do believe it, and it's interesting. It's interesting. They were both dissatisfied with each other's looks, and yet were trying to fool us into thinking they're getting married at the end of the... Like, what's going on? I don't know. I would love to see a wedding. Like, Hannah... and this is just the sadist in me. Like, let's see a Hannah and Nick wedding and see what Nick would say, because they would both say no at the altar, I think. It's just like a race to who gets asked first. Garrett just like, I plead the fifth. Yeah, Garrett was not getting involved, which, smart, but annoying. The boys didn't want to get caught lying or saying the truth and dealing with consequences. Yeah, the boys they had each other's backs. That's for sure. And yeah, all the other girls too. Like, and some of the girls seem to not vibe with Hannah, which I don't blame them. I feel like the left side of the couch, which was like Alex and Monica, I feel like they talked about a girls' trip, and Hannah and Marissa were like, oh, Hannah, thank you. You're late to the party, but you look so good. Thank you. No one wanted to ruffle any feathers. But then why are we here? I know, exactly, Bailey. Why are we here? That's why this reunion, it was just like, like, people are just too conscious of the cameras. That's the thing with Nick. Like, all of this is because he is so aware of the cameras. He has things he says off camera and things he says on camera, and they're not adding up. Yet, we'll never know. They're super, super aware. And yeah, that played into this couple so much. And yeah, Hannah just like, I mean, I don't know what much else. I mean, I guess Vanessa could give her a lecture or something, but what else can Vanessa say to her when she keeps saying like, yeah, I'm dirtbag, that's just how I am. Like, okay. Now what? She just doesn't seem willing to change at all, or like want to do any self-reflection. And then the Katie thing. So Katie was there. Katie is other girl. I don't think she's not in this slideshow. Katie was there, and they asked her about, and she was very hurt about Hannah saying she didn't trust her anymore after the Gatsby night. And Katie says that she said Nick was cute twice, which again shows like how much Hannah dramatizes makes everything dramatic, because like she said Nick was so hot like 5 times. So like she just exaggerates the stories, and Katie was like, well, did you mean that? And Hannah was just like, I didn't mean that, it was just a fight, like I was just trying to end the art. Like, what kind of friend is that? That's just like, I don't trust her. And then, I didn't mean that, girl. Whoops. And Marissa's mom, that was one of her moments where she's like, she made you feel like shit for a year before telling you it didn't mean anything. That was kind of shady. And I just don't get why Katie and Marissa are hanging around with her. Like, what's the deal? Somehow people were so conscious of the cameras and still did too much. Yeah. But poor Katie, I mean, she needs to get a better friend and she corroborated they were best friends, which I was like, wow, I thought that was an exaggeration. And also Marissa and Hannah are best friends, apparently. Hannah has so many best friends. And what was the other? There was something else with Hannah and Nick. Oh, Hannah said something about. There's another dramatic thing, I think. She was saying that the girls were. Girls that are DMing Nick are sending her the DMs with him. And that he was trying to fly a girl out for the reunion. And it's just so hard. Like, I can't believe anything Hannah says because she just, like, blows everything out of proportion. And I'm like, girl, it could have been just, like, a flirty exchange of, like, 3 messages, and she would, like, spin a story about it and make it exaggerated. Or, like, take a joke or something. And I don't know. She's like, I know all the DMs you're getting and all the girls. They send it to me. Like, what? Who cares? Why are you invested in his love life? And what do you care? That was like so goofy. I'm like, Hannah, why? You're just still trying to get one over on him for what? Yeah, and what if and what if he was trying to fly someone out? Yeah, like who cares? Why is she like? I know who you're talking to. I know who you're DMing. Like, okay, cool, I guess. I mean, now Nick needs to go and be like, figure out who's the shady girl he's talking to that's texting Hannah for whatever. But it's more like a fault of the girl he's talking to than any. It doesn't say anything about anything. Yeah, it's Bailey says it's giving she still cares way too much. Yeah, I was so surprised by that because I was like, you hate Nick. What do you care if he's flying anyone out or flirting or talking to anybody? So yeah, Hannah like didn't help her image. Surprise, surprise. But it was interesting to hear the new things about Nick because I did feel like there was more to it in the image consciousness, and there's things about him that are like, he's a little more clout chasing maybe than he was presenting himself to be, which I think a lot of the clout chasing people on the show are pretty good at hiding it or trying to hide it, but I think eventually audiences kind of like come around. He Loki got lucky getting paired with someone that is just so messy that he's kind of getting off scot-free. Like, if, like, this goal thing and the off-camera comments would have come out about someone that was with a fan favorite, a super sweetheart person, girl, I think people would be, like, on him. Go get your job back, Hannah. Sadly, I mean, she's probably going to influence. She's going to influence. Yeah, she's a full-time TikToker now. For real. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, too. Like, you can accuse someone of cloud chasing, but, like, other people are also going to be cloud chasing and be trying to be influencers. It's not that revolutionary, sadly, on this show. And Hannah's like a prime example of someone that she like quit her job and is trying to look a certain way and be very glam. So like I imagine she's gonna attempt the influencer route career, and that's not surprising. So like if that's Nick's big sin in this, like it's not that unique or that extreme. I need more clout chasers like the 2 that went to Miami. Okay, we're actually going to talk about them next. Let's see. Are they here? Are they here? Yeah. Okay, Leo and Britney, we got their updates. Finally, I feel kind of vindicated. I think if anyone here was one of the conspiracy theorists about, like, they chose not to go to Mexico, I think it's been squashed by this reunion. So Leo and Britney came off decent. I mean, they kind of had a low bar. They only had up, and their transgressions are kind of like goofy and lighthearted compared to a lot of the dark, heavy stuff we were seeing with everyone else. Um, so yeah, Britney, I love her. I mean, I love pink. Anything pink, I love. And she was fierce in pink. Leo looks fine. It's a basic suit. Um, and I mean, Leo is still a little bit, or a lot of bit, in the clouds and out of touch, I would say. He does regret, he says he regrets things after watching, that he admits he, like, talked too much about money and that it was obnoxious. So he was trying to be self-aware. Everyone was trying to be self-aware because I think the internet, like, the internet makes you self-aware, because they tell you constantly everything wrong with you. He had this moment of, like, talking about how torn he was with the decision, and he was like, it's like when you're at a restaurant and you can't decide between steak and pasta. And I was like, Leo, come on, like, why are you you were doing so well, why are you comparing women to food items on a menu? And then he was like, but then you realize the food has feelings. Like, sir, this is not appropriate. And everyone was like, oh God, this guy. Yeah, Bailey says, I was really happy to hear it wasn't the dire situation the edit had us believing. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of questions about the Miami thing. Why didn't they get picked to go to Mexico? That was like my title of my whole video. That I was so mad that the producers didn't pick them. And some people yelled at me in the comments like, oh, you want her to go with Leo, like with a guy that makes her so uncomfortable. Like, you want her going to Cabo with a creepy guy. And I'm just like, I would never say that I want her to go to Cabo if they hadn't gone to Miami anyway. Like, they went to Miami. So they did go to Miami, and they were down to go to Cabo. I mean, they said, like, they would be down to go with friends. That's why they had their backup plan, and that they weren't chosen because of what they told us. Like, they were the weakest link, as they said, of the couples, and they didn't have a lot of potential to go to the altar, and the producers didn't like that because she was so uncomfortable in the reveal. But she clarified she wasn't uncomfortable with Leo touching her or kissing her, and she just felt, like, very jarred by the whole experience. And the cameras, again, another cameras thing. She was just kind of, like, thrown off by the whole production, and that he's a stranger, and that, I don't know. And I get it. I don't understand how more people don't have this reaction on the show. But yeah, so the conspiracies can, I mean, is anyone still conspiring that they chose not to go to Mexico? Because that was, like, popular. Like, almost everyone in the comments of that video were saying, like, no way, like, they chose not to go to Mexico. Like, Britney and Leo chose. Britney chose not to go to Mexico. So, yeah, and she's not single, we learned. Not surprising. I feel like she's seeking something. And she's motivated, and Leo is single, which is not surprising. He's a mess. Oh, thank you, Zoe. I had to do it up for Halloween. But yeah, I love them just because, like, they're goofy and they're a mess, and I would not want to date them. I wouldn't even want to be friends with them, but they're just dumb, and, like, at the beginning of the season, they seemed like the crazy, horrible, toxic ones, and now they're like good friends, they said. They talk a lot all the time. Britney said they ended because traveling together, there were just a lot of quirks that they weren't, like, compatible. She wasn't into. He kept trying to drink out of her drink, and she hated that. We got one grainy photo of Miami of, like, his Rolex and her ring, which I feel like they just, like, took that like, backstage and just said, this was Miami, because it was just like a close-up. Um, it was goofy, but they came off fine. Like, good for them. Whatever. The boys really liked Leo. Not that that means anything. I don't, to me. Um, I'm trying to see, is there anything else? No, that's it with them. But I was glad to see them. I'm glad we got like the answers we wanted from them, which is like all we needed. Um, Britney, she's probably dating a rich man's, and can't say that's my guess. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. And yeah, Bailey saying producers would not take the fall for their decision. I agree. Like, people were like, producers didn't want to be embarrassed. And I'm like, I don't think producers are thinking about being embarrassed. Like, they don't, I don't know. I don't think so. And now we know in this case. But yeah, people were really like, there's no way. Like, and that just goes to show how weird it was they weren't chosen, because people were like, it's just so far-fetched that producers didn't choose them, that it must be that they chose not to go. Like, that's how outlandish that is. It is interesting. Yeah, they would have made good TV. That's what I was saying. Tim going to bat for Leo kind of icked me out. Yeah, that's why I'm like, the boys love him. That means nothing. Nick Lachey was like, I would have loved to hang out with you, Leo. That means nothing to me. Like, okay, Nick Lachey, I'm sure he's very snooty. That means nothing. But yeah, that's Leo and Britney. I think the producers kind of slept on them, and now they made, last stream I showed, like, they made merch based on them and everything. So I think they're regretting it, and maybe next season they'll be like, screw the altar, let's go for the drama. I can only hope. One can only hope. Stephen and Monica, next couple. Oh God. I mean, for Stephen and Monica, like, they had the least like unanswered questions, because luckily it all came out on the show, so it wasn't like anything like social media exposed anything. Steven messed up real quick and got caught, so it wasn't that big a deal. Or like there wasn't anything new. And Steven, he was trying to like interject, he was being kind of cringy about it, and he was very like anxious, which makes sense. Like, he knows he's there to be grilled or not. I don't know. That's what I didn't know about this reunion. Like, was Steven gonna be like, what can he say? There's nothing he can say, and it's just like, why are you here? Why do we care about Steven? Watch them be back at future reunions. They'll milk Britney and Leo. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, Steven talking in circles. And it was so confusing. Steven was like, oh, funny enough, I only talked to that girl that one time. Like, that was the only day I texted her. And then Monica was like, there was a whole thread before that day. And then he was like, oh yeah, like, we've been friends for a long time, or something like that, where it was just like, well, which one is it? Or like, what does it matter? Any of this. So, and then he did this whole thing where he like wrote a letter to Monica or to his parents or something, or no, to her parents, sorry. And like apologizing for everything. And then he immediately brought it up at the reunion, and Monica was like, I knew you were going to bring it up at the reunion. You just wrote this letter to bring it up at the reunion. And she was right. Because there's literally nothing he can do or say. Like, and he's frustrated by that, obviously, but also, like, I don't know. It's just like, where I think he was just trying to get people to feel sorry for him. But no one's going to feel sorry. Like, who cares? We don't care about you enough, sir. Yeah, he claimed he was still in therapy and grew as a person. Same things he was talking about a year ago. no one cares about a story because it's all lies anyway. That's what Reba says. Exactly. Like, what do we care? And yeah, he was like, I'm in therapy, I'm working on this, and like he was saying like she started it, the girl that texted him, and he was like, I just had to ask follow-up questions about her fetishes. Like, okay, what? No, you didn't. And he was like, I conquered that temptation and whatever. But I don't know. It just wasn't adding up. And it was just like, there's nothing you can say. I'm sorry to say. But like, because yeah, he's already done the tactic of like, I've cheated before. I've changed. I'm in therapy. I've done the thing. And so like, yeah, there's nothing else. There's nothing else. Yeah, truthfully, what Stefano says, what could he have said about it all? He was a slimy guy, and I felt like whatever he would have said at the reunion could have helped him. And yeah, Monica was on his neck the whole time. Lachey's didn't roast him enough. Yeah, I mean, Monica, good for her. She's very, like, on it. And I feel like she has a lot of self-worth, and I think it's her age showing in a good way, that she's like, who cares? Like, shut up. It's not adding up. And even, it was kind of weird, the Lachey's were trying to, like, kind of victim blame her about, like, oh, you didn't see the red flags when he told you he cheated before. And she's like, no, because, like, I said this too when it first came out, like, cheaters don't normally say, hey, I cheated before. Like, I feel like they try to stay away from any suspicion because they're guilty. So it was kind of like a more modern tactic of him to be like, hey, I've cheated before and I'm over it. I've grown. I therapy, all the things. So I saw her side of like, you know, trying to give someone a second chance, trying not to define them by a past mistake. Like, I think it was fair, and she was just trying to believe him in that moment and in that conversation. So, like, I don't blame her for, I mean, I guess it's a red flag, but it was kind of big of her to not let that define him. And unfortunately, he was lying, but, or like, whatever. He hadn't grown enough to, like, not do it again. He gives me flashbacks of my terrible relationship. Gaslight Central. The only kudos I will give Steven is Monica knew about the messages the very next day, so I presume he told her, unless she was going through his phone. I've heard the story is something like they were gonna meet up with other Love is Blind people, like other other couples, and they were waiting on a text, and she, like, saw his phone while trying to, like, monitor for that. I don't know how true that story is. It's been a minute. It was, like, early in the season. She said she didn't know if there was a password, so I don't think I don't think it was a snooping thing. It was more like, and he mentioned, like, he keeps his phone very open. So I think it was just, like, kind of an oversight on his part. Or, I mean, maybe he has, like, a thing about that because he was very like, I deserve to be caught if I'm doing this. So, like, maybe he's just not trying that hard to hide it. But then he did delete the text messages, so it's whatever. When people tell you who they are, believe them. Well, but he said who he was like, I'm in therapy and I've grown and changed. But yeah. And he cheated literally in the same way as what he said he'd done before. Yeah. Yeah. It's wild because it's like, well, like, you want to believe people can grow and change and give them a chance, but also, like, well, now this makes me think, no, you shouldn't, I guess. I don't know. It's just, like, bad representation for reformed cheaters. I mean, I think that's a small demographic, but Yeah, thank goodness for Monica he cheated before the wedding. That's why I kept saying, like, at least it happened early. We didn't even have to drag on that relationship much. Like, just got out of there. Oh, let's see Steven. He had, like, a turtleneck on. It looked very hot. Like, he should have maybe thought of a lighter outfit when he was going to be, like, under the heat of scrutiny. Do y'all think Steven would have said yes at the altar? I'm leaning towards no, but who knows? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They ended so early. I mean, I think she was already leaning no. So, I don't know. Sam says fetish for getting caught. I don't know. We don't know what the fetishes were. He was like, I'm going to respect the individual and not talk about the text messages. Even though Nancy asked for us, she tried. And he was at a sleep study, but he was being frisky at the sleep study. Virtually. Okay, moving on to Tim and Alex. Oh, hello? Alex's dress, I saw somewhere that she made this. Did y'all hear that? She did say she works in fashion. I don't know if she means designed it or made it. Because if she constructed it, then, like, my respects to her. It's a interesting. It's a innovative way to display boobs. She actually looked great. I actually really liked Alex in the reunion. Just, like, I feel like I got to see her personality. I don't know if maybe because she got to go to LA for it, and, like, maybe it was, like, a vacation for her or something from working, and she probably didn't work that day or maybe around the time. So, like, I feel like she just had the energy up, and I got to see, like, her personality come through. Yeah, her hair was really nice. Very gorgeous. The short looks great on her. She just looks so much more, like, refreshed and, like, herself than what we'd seen in the season. Because for Alex, I just kept being like, I just don't know who she is. Like, I don't know anything about her. I don't know her vibe. She just was kind of, like, very reserved. And, like, Tim was annoying, so she was just kind of annoyed. So, yeah, interesting. And Tim and Alex, not much new with them. They just kind of hashed out. Oh, yeah, okay, so we did get clarification on the fight, which was important. I'm glad we got the answer. Tim is no longer sulking around her. Yeah, maybe that's it. She shed what was weighing her down. We got more insight on the Cabo fight. And this was another thing that was, like, awareness of the cameras was, like, the villain of the story. It was that she clarified it was not an assault, and Tim confirmed that. So that was kind of like the worst case in a lot of our minds, that this had been some sort of, like, physical assault kind of thing or borderline. And that's a very serious thing. So it was good to hear it wasn't of that nature, and that she was trying to, like, not attract the attention of producers, and that's why she covered his mouth. Like, that's wild. Like, that's proof that these people are, like, really hiding from the cameras and avoiding them, because I was shocked by that. Like, just that was the hand, like, it wasn't hand over his mouth to, like, just to shut him up. It was just like, don't attract the producer. Like, they're in a horror movie or something. Like, don't attract the monster. That's so bizarre. I mean, not bizarre. I get it, but also, like, oh my God, what have we come to? It was just so weird. So yeah, I was glad to hear it wasn't, like, as much. It wasn't like an assault, and that Tim agrees. He doesn't consider it an assault. So that kind of helped clarify at least what that fight was about. And they just kind of they just kind of fought at this reunion about like what she wanted in that moment. She just wanted space, but he's saying like she wasn't really communicating that she wanted space, and he was more offended not by the hand over his mouth but the insult, which we found out what it was as well. She called him a little ass bitch. Zoe says, did you notice how Love is Blind wouldn't pay for the music rights to I Hope You Dance when they replayed their wedding dance, Zach and Bliss? I did notice that. I was like, this generic ass stock music. They were like, we're not paying for it again. Paid for it once. Yeah, no. They're not gonna spare expenses just willy-nilly. But then it's like, why have the montage that we didn't need of Zach and Bliss? Just go rewatch their season. Whatever. So yeah, clarification and fight in Mexico. They're fighting though, and like I think they're just not the best communicators. I can believe that Alex probably wasn't communicating in that moment. She was going through a lot family-wise. She mentions, I mean, her parents have very serious health conditions, and her father had been admitted to rehab like right before she left, and so she was struggling. So she was probably not in the best headspace to communicate, and he wasn't having that. And that's why their argument got so heated, and he was very insulted by being called a little ass bitch. Nothing new with this couple in their dynamic or like answers about why they broke up. I mean, they fight pretty badly, so like that's why. Just more information about Mexico is what we got. Let me find Tim just to see his outfit. I think it was plain. It was very plain. Okay, very plain Jane. And yeah, she's saying like she was trying to protect him from the cameras because he is very conscious of like race and how it comes off if he's like on camera being angry. And that's a very delicate thing, and it sounds like she was trying to like help him with that, and I mean they just didn't want to be that representation, and that makes sense. But she's still just mad about the same thing of like why did he waste her father's time when he was having doubts. And he was trying to spin a thing about like, oh well, okay, we got answered. Okay, we did get more answers. We got answers about why she took a nap, which I never thought it was about the nap. Like, the nap was irrelevant. Tim was just over it, and it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. But she was taking a nap because she had been with his parents from like 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and then had to go bartend from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m., and she wanted to take a nap before going into her work shift, which makes a lot of sense. I never questioned the nap. I figured, I mean, she mentioned she works and whatever, but he was trying to spin that she was at the club the night before, but then she clarified she was at the club the night before they met her dad, not his parents, and that the night before they met his parents, he was starting to express doubts, and she was very shocked because she was just like thanking him for reading the letter to her dad, and going all out for her family. So it's nothing surprising, but we did get some new details, I guess, with them, more than I realized. And I think I don't think my feelings changed on them, so I think that's why I'm like, did we get new details? We did, but my feelings didn't really change. Like, she wasn't communicating that day about the tires, like the day they broke up. And he just wanted everything on his terms, but not really communicating the terms, just like expecting them to be obvious. And she was just kind of like, I mean, she was focusing on her own needs and work, and figured if he wanted something from her, he would communicate it. And I don't know how much she communicated her needs. I don't know. We didn't really get many situations to see that. But, yeah, nothing, no new feelings with this couple. Just like, I liked seeing Alex at the reunion and seeing her, like, have more personality or just, like, seem more herself. He went all out for her family, but if it was fake, it really means nothing. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the weird thing with him. Like, if he hadn't done anything with her family or just been like, let's go to a lunch at a place, and they just went to a lunch at a place or whatever, and not done the whole thing, then it'd be like, okay, the breakup makes more sense. But it was just like over the top, how much he did for her family. And his justification is like, oh, well, I expected that same effort back when my family came into town, and it wasn't up to his standards. Yeah. He went from reading an emotional letter to I never want to see you again. Yeah, and it was like the severity of the breakup and like the coldness and like the wait, what? And she confronted him about that at the reunion, like, you're treating me like I killed your dog or something when we broke up. I don't know. And I think he could have conveyed that message in a nicer way, like a nice delivery, like, I don't think we should speak anymore. Or like just saying the same thing of like, I never want to see you again. Like the sentiment could be there, but saying it more like cordially. I don't know. Tyler level of lying. Is it Tyler? I don't know. Tyler's on his own, in his own world. Oh my God. But yeah, he was very like kind of fake about her parents thing, and then just so hot and cold within the span of 2 days. So yeah, no new feelings, just some new details. And Alex is fierce. I mean, I was into her at this reunion. I finally got to know her a little bit, and she like called him out for the things that were the biggest sins, which were the letter to her father, to the breakup, and the way he ended the breakup, which was very intense. But they just fought, and Vanessa ended up having to like shut them down because they were just going in circles. Hi, Kim. No worries being late. It's Halloween. It's a holiday. I'm glad y'all are here at all. I think that's all our couples. We got updates from old people. Jessica, which I was like, Jessica, what are you doing here? Jessica's married and has a like stepson, I guess, or like adopted. Like she married a guy who had a baby, a very young baby. It seemed like when they got married. But yeah, we got a wedding video, which I was like, I don't need to see this. But whatever, good for her. And we got a Nancy update. She moved to New York. That was it. She's seeing somebody who is shy. And then Marshall's update, he moved to LA. Like, these updates were like, okay, you moved here. You moved to where there's entertainment opportunities. Surprise, surprise, from a reality TV star. Who else? Oh, yeah, Zach and Bliss had their baby. Okay, thoughts? I saw someone in one of my comments one time say, like, they used to love Zach and Bliss, but after what they named their baby, they hate them now. And I was like, wow, that's a big plot twist. Just for that. I'm like, it's a weird name, but I don't care what people name their babies. I don't have strong feelings about that. They named their baby Galileo. And I think she's a girl, and they call her Leo, I believe. Um, and they got a lot of hate for that. I mean, it's weird, but like, I don't know. It's just funny. Um, People be hating. People hate that, I guess. Some people. I remember that comment. I was like, wow, that's a serious hatred for a baby name. Galileo. I don't hate them, but it's a fascinating name choice. It's a little out there. It's a little weird. I mean, that child will need a thick skin. Yeah, but everyone names their baby weird things nowadays. They barely even talked about Tim and Ashley, or Tyler and Ashley, probably. Yeah, Tyler and Ashley. Yeah, I know. They were wasting time on a Zach and Bliss montage without even the copyrighted song. But I think it's just, the baby thing was huge for Vanessa, and I think, like, they told her she can't be asking anymore for babies, but she was like, well, we're going to have a whole segment for Zach and Bliss for the baby. Because she's obsessed with the babies. I mean, I like Zach and Bliss. I like Bliss a lot. I love Bliss, her season. One of my favorites on Love is Blind. Zach is whatever, but she chose him, so, I just accept him for her. I like seeing them, but yeah, I just wish they just had like a role that was like, oh, let's have them ask a fan question or something. Vanessa loves her Love is Blind babies. Yeah. Is there any more? I guess Janina had a baby, right? She did have a baby. It wasn't a Love is Blind baby, but it was even bigger, a crossover baby. A Love is Blind Bachelor crossover baby. That's huge. That's like, when the royals of two different kingdoms got married and had a baby. Was there anything else at the reunion? Anyone else? We talked about next season, Valentine's Day. I'll be here. Minneapolis people in the chat. I don't know. I doubt anybody. I've never been to Minneapolis. I've always wanted to. It's kind of like a similar vibe to Austin, so I think that's why I've been interested to go, but I've never had like a big reason to go. She was pregnant, I think. I think she had the baby, Janina. Do I follow her? Or maybe her posts just come up. I don't follow many Love is Blind people, but I think I saw she had it. Next year's contestants look so young. Yeah, they did. They did. I'm just like, we don't know them yet, but they're going to be important. Or maybe they're just random pod squad that they're just there to not give spoilers. I'm like, is there already like tea and TikToks about how horrible these people are? Because I wouldn't be surprised these days with the TikToks. The internet detectives are wildin'. But yeah, that was the reunion. It was fine. I mean, there's been worse. But I just think there's some dissatisfying things with the couples that we're not going to get any satisfaction from. Like Tyler and Ashley and like Hannah and Nick. Mainly those. Everyone else is like kind of expected. I'm surprised they didn't have Alexa on to talk about her. Oh yeah, Alexa and Brennan, I think. I think they had a baby, or they're pregnant. Maybe they were in the last. They might have been at the last reunion. They kind of switch up who they feature. They never feature Amber and Barnett though. That's for sure. It's so sad for them because they actually went the distance and no one cares about them. Everyone cares about Lauren and Cameron. Because they're going strong, and it's been a while, 5 years probably like 6 years for them, anniversary wise. Jeez. I've never seen them at a Love is Blind thing. Oh my god, they're pregnant? Amber and Barnett? I didn't even know that. CMO 80 says. Wow. Yeah, they're starting to have the babies. Like, I think the first few seasons when Vanessa was antsy, it was like, it's too soon, girl. They haven't been married long. Let people live. And now they're getting there. Kim says Hannah seems to have learned nothing. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. Yeah, nothing too... Like, I don't think my feelings changed on anyone much from this reunion. And I was just very interested and intrigued by the amount of awareness about production, the way they were actively avoiding cameras, the way they were being very, like, strategic with what information was on camera versus off camera. And that may have been happening other seasons, but, like, this season, that seemed very present and, like, a source of issues with these couples. Oh, Amber and Barnett announced it on the Hamiltons podcast. Oh my god, I saw that in my YouTube recommended. I didn't know there was like a big announcement on it. I didn't pay attention. That's cool. Overall, good season, mid-reunion. It was an alright season. I think even with all the mess, like, I think it was still entertaining, and that's something not every season has. Like, I think it was kind of a bad season. It's a bottom half season for me, tier-wise. Like, 4 and 1 are in my top 2. And then 3 and 6 and 7 are middle. And then at the bottom is like 5. I guess. I don't know. 2 goes down for me though, and 3 goes down for me. Maybe I hate more than I think. But yeah, it's definitely towards the bottom half. But like, it was so entertaining. Like, compared to 5 was so trash because the hero couple wasn't very hero. Like, I didn't think they should be together. I didn't ship them. I didn't want them to say yes to the altar. They had a lot of problems. Lydia and Milton. And then 6 was a mess. It was just kind of like a lot of drama. But I liked Amy and Johnny quite a bit. I know people thought they were boring, but I liked them. I guess I related to her. She was kind of nerdy. So I think I missed this, but are Ramses and Marissa still seeing each other? I don't think so. She had a thing that was like, oh, I was fucking that man. Like, kind of saying, like, we all make mistakes. But I didn't take that to mean after they broke up. Some people did. Some people, I think, read it as she was sleeping with him post-breakup. I don't know if it's that clear, but I didn't read it that way. I read it as, like, she was with him. But I don't know. I don't think so. They didn't seem like very friendly at this thing, so I don't think necessarily nowadays they're doing anything. Oh, Marissa asked him to be together recently and he rejected her? Oh, girl, she needs to run away. Marissa, poor like, I love her, but girl, come on. Don't let us down. Just... She mouthed, I think I hate it. There was a lot of whispering this reunion, and the subtitles were not subtitling the whispering, and I was like, excuse me, why do I have subtitles on? There was... 6 was top tier for me because of the Clay's family drama was tea. Oh my god, I forgot about Clay. Clay is so goofy. He was a mess. I guess season 6 was fun. It had a lot of fun drama. I feel like 7 is kind of comparable to me. It had, like, drama and, like, one hero couple. Even though other people got married, but I didn't approve. I feel like Nick was this year's Cole. Everybody wanted to attack him. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Cole comparisons. Though I think Cole was more innocent than Nick. Like, a little more. I think. I don't remember that well, to be honest. I don't remember. Like, I remember the cuties thing and, like, he was villainized about, like, poking at her weight. But there was never anything about stuff he said off camera, but now I don't remember. Amber and Barnett have a sour relationship with Kinetic. They wouldn't want to come on or be mentioned. Yeah, I feel like you can tell. I feel like they're kind of blacklisted, which is so dumb because they're such a old couple at this point. One of the better seasons, 6. This one dragged in the beginning and middle was very juicy. Ending felt very predictable this season, whereas season 6, I did not know what was going to happen every episode. This one, it kind of felt like we knew how it was playing out. But I still think there was like a lot of stuff going on in this one that made it entertaining to me. He called Zainab bipolar and was very smug about it. Didn't appreciate it as someone that struggles with mental health. Yeah, I remember Cole was kind of like, I don't know. See, I don't remember his sins, but I remember hating on him, and then the comments were so mad at me for hating on him. It was like towards the beginning, before any of the later stuff, but like, because he seemed kind of like immature and like rude, and then people were like, you hate all men, and I was like, what? But that's how the comments be. I didn't like Cole very much, honestly, but people love him now. And oh yeah, his interactions around Colleen. Yeah, he was like flirting with her at the pool party. I can't remember that. This is so long ago. I was making videos back then. They were probably very crunchy. But yeah, there's parallels there, but it feels kind of different just because, I don't know, Zainab wasn't like just hating on him constantly about his looks and like berating him the way Hannah was. So I don't know. But I think Nick is a little clout chasey. They were both accused of weight shaming. That's their thread, I guess. Yeah. The reason people are attacking them is like, you made your partner feel insecure. That's like the comparison. Like, that's the accusation Cole had and the accusation Nick is having now. But I don't think Zainab ever made him feel bad about his looks. And that's kind of the difference in the dynamics. Because Hannah was like very mean about his looks too. So it was kind of like an eye for an eye here. And not even, because she said a lot more. And on camera. To everybody. I think he was misrepresented. Yeah, I think the cuties thing vindicated him a lot, because he didn't weight shame her, and she was framing it like he weight shamed her for the cuties, and he was very confused. So that helped him. He just had like other moments that were like not great, and he was like immature. Same with Nick. Nick is pretty immature. I don't know. She didn't see him as her equal. That could be a parallel to Hannah. That's true. I think, like, Zainab was like, I'm so much more mature. So it's like, she was similar to Hannah in that way. But she just wasn't, like, as vocal. Like, she was a little bit. She was like the tamed down version of Hannah. Like, that isn't just, like, she wasn't just hurting people's feelings to hurt people's feelings. Yeah, so interesting parallels there with Cole and Zainab, Hannah and Nick. We didn't get like a gotcha moment with Nick because we saw it all. We saw Hannah be mean to him, so I don't think he needed a cuties thing because it was just there the whole time. But he said he was ready to be a husband, but the man couldn't clean a toilet. Yeah, that was Nick's whole. Whoa, Cole, both of them. Both of them. They shouldn't have been signing up for this. That's the real tea. And neither should have Hannah, honestly, or Zena, probably. They had a lot of insecurities to work through. That's their, yeah. But anyway, that's the reunion. I'm just having fun here on Halloween. I appreciate y'all coming on a holiday. I didn't expect this. I was busy yesterday. I was taking a community college class that was on Wednesday nights, and then they scheduled the reunion on me, and it was during my class, so it was sad. I had to miss it live, but I came today for Halloween, and I tried to dress up a little bit and wear my fun cat ears. I think these are like for ravers. I think they flash. They have different modes. And yeah, I appreciate y'all being around for another season of Love is Blind. I really appreciate y'all and y'all chatting and commenting and watching. It's really fun, and that's the reward, really, because I don't get a lot of money, and I spend a lot of hours on making videos and stuff and have fun just like recapping. Because I love reality TV and analyzing, and it's like a mirror to society. And to me, that's like very fascinating. So, thanks for being here. I'll be back Valentine's Day 2025 if y'all want to come through and chat. Yeah, season 7. Eventually, sometimes I update my rankings of the cast, so I might do that sometime. I do a lot of like pop culture roundups in December, so I might do some of that. So yeah, subscribe, engage, however you want to. But I really appreciate the love and just the support, and I have so much fun. So much fun with y'all. Because no one in real life wants to talk this much about reality TV. Except Love is Blind. Honestly, in real life, people talk to me a lot about Love is Blind. It's a powerful show that people want to talk about. But everything else I talk about, people don't want to talk about that much. But yeah, stay tuned. And I hope you'll have a spooky, fun, happy Halloween. Season 2 with Deep D. What's your fave, Maria? Fierce. Deep D was cool. That's true. I forget. Whatever. Yeah. I appreciate y'all. I hope you have a good night. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.